Look at your life. Not the version you explain to people, the one that keeps repeating. Look at the people you call leaders. You were taught their language early. Ethics, fairness, humility, service. Not because it makes you powerful, but because it makes you manageable. 5 centuries ago, Niccolò Machiavelli watched capable men fail for one consistent reason. They confused morality with survival. So he wrote The Prince, not to comfort them, but to explain why the world keeps rewarding the same type of person. Most readers call the book dark. That reaction isn't moral outrage. It's recognition. If you're here to feel inspired, leave now. If you're here to understand why the rules you followed never applied equally, stay. Just don't expect relief. Ask yourself this: why are you still playing by codes designed by people who already secured their position? Here is the first fracture you avoid looking at. Your goodness isn't neutral. It's a liability when you refuse to adapt it to reality. Machiavelli was precise about this. A man who insists on being good in all circumstances will be destroyed by those who aren't. Not because they're evil, but because they're flexible. You were raised to believe effort plus fairness equals reward. That story is useful for keeping systems quiet. In practice, power doesn't select for virtue. It selects for those who can display virtue while acting out of necessity. This isn't a call to cruelty. It's a warning about naivete. If you lack the capacity to enforce consequences, your kindness isn't moral. It's cosmetic. If this is landing uncomfortably, pause. That discomfort is the point where most people stop watching. Stay anyway. You've heard the question before. Is it better to be loved or feared? You chose love not because it works, but because it feels safer. Machiavelli dismantles that instinct cleanly. Love is conditional. It survives only while interests align. Fear, when properly calibrated, doesn't rely on mood or memory. Look at your work, your relationships, your inner circle. Affection evaporates under pressure. Consequences don't. This doesn't mean domination. Hatred is inefficient. But confusing warmth for loyalty is how leverage is lost. You don't build foundations on what others feel. You build them on what you can control. Most people think power looks like force, loud voices, constant motion, aggression mistaken for strength. That's the lion, and the lion walks straight into traps. Others pride themselves on intelligence. Adaptable, subtle, always thinking ahead. That's the fox, and the fox has no defense when exposed. Power requires both, the perception of strength and the intelligence to deploy it selectively. This is where most people fail. They want to be something strong, clever, moral. They don't want to appear one thing while remaining capable of another. At high levels, reality is managed through optics. Stability depends on appearance. Continuity depends on adaptability. Those who survive understand this without celebrating it. If you cannot adjust when conditions shift, if you cling to a fixed identity, you don't get crushed loudly. You simply get removed from relevance. This is where the noise thins out. If you keep returning to this channel, it won't be because it motivates you. It will be because it leaves you fewer places to hide. You avoid conflict. You wait. You hope tension resolves itself. Machiavelli's observation was colder. Delay doesn't remove conflict. It hands the advantage elsewhere. Decisive action, when unavoidable, is taken cleanly. Boundaries are established once not negotiated endlessly. Uncertainty is what breeds resentment, not firmness. Those who operate at the top don't dramatize confrontation. They reduce access. They remove dependency. They make certain lines expensive to cross. If you spend most of your life agreeable, understand this. When firmness is required, it must be unmistakable. Now consider luck. Machiavelli called it fortuna. Unpredictable, violent, indifferent. Most people notice it only when it destroys something. A few prepare for it while conditions are calm. Fate governs part of your outcome. The rest is shaped by preparation. If you are consistently behind, stop blaming timing, systems, or personalities. Blame unreadiness. Chance favors those who are already positioned. You have a decision to make. Return to the comfort of moral explanations and wonder why progress feels slow. Or accept that the world operates on incentives, pressure, and foresight, not fairness. This book isn't about evil. It's about accuracy. Read it carefully. Apply it selectively. Or continue serving structures that benefit from your restraint. The world doesn't need more agreeable people. It needs fewer illusions. There's another video waiting. Watch it when you're ready to be precise. You think understanding this makes you dangerous. It doesn't. Understanding without restraint turns into arrogance. And arrogance is loud enough to be tracked. The people who actually hold power don't talk the way you do. They don't announce clarity. They move differently. And they let outcomes speak. Here's what most readers never integrate. Power isn't aggressive. It's selective. You don't assert yourself everywhere. You choose where silence does more work than resistance. Most people exhaust themselves trying to prove they matter. They argue. They explain. They react. That alone places them beneath anyone who can afford to wait. Waiting isn't passivity. It's a signal. It says you're not operating on urgency. And urgency is weakness made visible. Look at your own behavior. How often do you rush to clarify? How often do you justify what didn't need permission? Every unnecessary explanation transfers authority away from you. This is why appearance matters more than declaration. Not because image is everything, but because perception opens the door to leverage. People don't respond to who you are. They respond to what they believe you can do next. That belief is shaped by consistency, not volume. This is where most people sabotage themselves. They oscillate. Kind one moment, explosive the next. That unpredictability doesn't create respect. It invites testing. The disciplined individual is harder to test, not because they're cruel, but because their responses are reliable. Boundaries aren't speeches. They're patterns. If every violation gets a new reaction, you don't have boundaries. You have moods. And moods can be exploited. Power simplifies. It narrows emotional range in public and sharpens calculation in private. Cold doesn't mean unfeeling. It means not leaking. Contained emotion is energy. Leaked emotion is information. The people who last don't need to be understood. They need to be predictable in consequence. This applies everywhere. Work, relationships, negotiations. If someone crosses a line and nothing happens, you train them. If it happens once and never again, you set a cost. Costs don't need drama. They need consistency. Most people hesitate here because they confuse firmness with cruelty. That confusion benefits everyone except them. Firmness clarifies reality. Cruelty creates enemies. You don't need enemies. You need alignment. And alignment comes from known consequences. Now consider intelligence. Not knowledge, not credentials. Function. Logic persuades only after position is secured. Until then, it's decoration. High-level environments reward timing. Say it early and it's ignored. Say it late and it's irrelevant. Timing is awareness with restraint. That restraint separates influence from noise. Silence forces others to reveal themselves. Relief isn't progress. Progress is one clean move. One adjustment. No cleanup. Freedom without structure is reactivity. Structure narrows the field, and narrowing creates freedom. Responsibility begins when innocence ends.